Yo, what's going on, guys? So it's been a while since I dropped a new mid lane SoloQ tiller, so I thought it's about time for 8.22. There's only a couple of days left in the season, so hopefully if you're looking to get a couple of more divisions before the season to end, this will help you pick that champion and spam it over this patch. So obviously with that mechanical difficulty chart on the right there, guys, just take note of it. I'm not going to bore you and explain, but obviously red is hard, blue is moderate, green is easy. Please take note. If you're like a 150 ping player, don't go pick a hard champion. If you're not like known as a mechanical player, don't go for the hard. Go for easy or moderate, especially if you're in the lower elos. So kicking it off for my god tier champions, we have Kassadin. Kassadin, easily one of the best 1v9 carries right now. I think this champion is honestly pretty much just dead set broken. You need to know how to trade with it early and survive to hit your power spikes. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Very nice hard carry, and there's not that many counters going around that really stomps your lane in. Also up there is Aatrox. I definitely think Aatrox is being underutilized. This champion is still fucking broken. I don't see many people abusing it. I don't understand why low elo players don't abuse it. It is actually so insane. Strong laning phase, massive mid game, and this champion can just take over the entire game, farm 10 CS per minute, farm the jungle, do this, do that. Pick up Aatrox if you're looking for like an AD mid right now on 8.22. So my OP mid for this patch is actually Lissandra. A lot of you may be thinking, dude, what the fuck? Lissandra's not OP, but I guarantee you this is one of the strongest picks on this patch, mainly because of the flexibility. This pick is good into any scenario. It's good into a lot of these S tier mids. Look at it. It counters Leblanc, Kali, Aurelia, Talon, Kassadin. This champion is good into like all of the OP picks right now on this patch. Also, you can run the Aftershock into these type of champions like Aurelia. You save yourself a really hard laning phase, or if you're into something like, if you want to, like a Leblanc into a control mage, you can go Electrocute, you can go Airy. There's so many setups. The champion's super flexible. That's why it's my OP pick on this patch. So just pumping through a couple of other picks, we have Leblanc, still a really strong assassin. A couple of small nerfs, not enough to bring it down. Aurelia, obviously this champion is absolute AIDS to deal with right now. It's a super strong champion. The win rate looks pretty low, same with Akali, but these champions when mastered are actually just insanely broken right now. Lastly, for my S tier mid laners, we have the Roamers, Talon, and Twisted Fate. Unfortunately, Aurelion Sol is down in the A tier. I think the nerfs to him are actually pretty big, and some of the champions that are rising up are very hard for him to deal with. But I still think that TF and Talon can impact the map enough to put them in that S tier, and they're much better than a lot of the A tier counterparts. Moving across now to touch on some of my A tier champions. The champion there that you're probably looking at and thinking, wow, I thought Midbeast would be putting Echo in the S tier. I think Echo is definitely very close and on edge of being S tier, but he's not quite. He's definitely one of my best picks of my A tiers, but I think Echo still has a couple of small problems with his kit and with his consistency that people really need to master before he can become a really strong champion. Another pick I want to touch on is actually Veigar. I think Veigar is definitely underrated this patch. It's actually a super strong champion if you can get through your shitty kind of laning phase into things such as the Kassadin, Aatrox. You will struggle. But if you pick Veigar into things like Aurelia, into things like Akali, you can just deny them completely. You cage them in. They can't move anywhere, and it's a beautiful scaling pick that really does just pop off in that later stages of the game, which a lot of low elo games, you can actually manage to get there just by wave clearing and them not knowing just how to end the game properly. So just quickly touching on the A-Sol, moving down to A tier. I think A-Sol's been an S tier for so many patches, like pretty much the entire season. Right now, there's a lot of champions that he very much struggles to deal with. Things like the Kassadin, Akali, LeBlanc, Aurelia, just things that can jump on top of him. Also, he's lost a lot of starting health. It's like 50 or 60 starting health or something like that. Corrupting Potion, slight nerf to that. There's just small things that I definitely think Aurelion Sol down a notch to that A tier pick right now. Moving over to my B tier champions, I'm not going to touch them all, but you see Urgot there. I think Urgot is a pretty nice pick in the mid lane right now. He definitely struggles into these like control mage types, but he definitely does really well into these beefy types of mid laners. If someone picks an Aatrox mid, a Kali, something like that, you can pick up the Urgot and really get beefy, get tanky, and they're not going to be able to blow you up like a lot of the other mid lane picks right now. Another champion that I've actually been spamming a lot is actually Lucian mid. I think Lucian mid is really fun right now. It's a great counter pick to things like the Kassadin. You can even run into things like Akali, dash out of her stuns and things like that. It's just a really mechanical, fun champion to play, but I think that it's much better as like a counter pick to Kassadin or something like Orianna, even Syndra, it does work. The two last champions on my B tier I want to touch on is Vel'Koz and Yasuo. I think these champions are probably the best picks of those B tiers. I think Yasuo is a very good champion. It's kind of hard to find consistency, but once you're there, you got the 200-300 games of mastery on it. You can pop off on this champion. Also, the Vel'Kours, you got that Glacial Augment, you got the Permaslows, you got those Twin Shadows coming out. This pick is also super strong into these short-range mages. If they pick something like the Rise, if they pick something like... Even if they pick something like a Zero something, this long range, you can just burst them out. It's a nice pick. Finishing off is my C-tier champions. These champions are pretty trash, don't get me wrong. You can still play them and climb with them, but I would just much rather you guys pick at least an A or S tier, a B tier if you're looking at one trick, things like that. These C-tier champions just really struggle on this patch in this meta, and I definitely do not recommend picking them up or trying to use them to climb towards the end of the season. So that's it for my 8.22 mid lane SoloQ tier list, guys. I hope it has helped. It's going to help you climb over the patch. Just take note, I don't take tier lists. I never have that seriously when it comes to people looking at them. I don't expect, or I think even people should, if they see this tier list, they say, okay, God tier champions, I got to play Kassadin. I got to play Leblanc. You don't. You can play anything. You can play the Talia mid even and still climb. All it is about finding consistency, learning all the matchups, learning your win conditions, and playing towards that rather than just picking OP champions that win you games. It's not about that. It's about knowing the champion, knowing the inner workings of the matchups and the paces and the different scenarios in the game. So without further ado, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, guys.